ほん𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむ。ドカ鬱横転ちゃんねるでしぬ。セブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる is today's Japanese slang term. Yeah, that's a thing. Look, right here, number 3, 2025. The kids love it. This is what the kids like. This is the thing that's out there, and now I'm going to tell you about it. So, depending on your perspective, ほん𝒎💏わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむ。ドカ鬱横転ちゃんねるでしぬ。セブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる is either a masterpiece pastiche of Japanese slang buzzwords combined into kind of an N1 level test of your knowledge of things that have been popular in Japanese youth speak over the last few years, or it's sort of a bunch of brain rot combined into a brain rot soup, which is now fed to you as pure amalgamated brain rot. So I'm going to start by breaking down this monstrosity of a phrase, explain to you where everything kind of comes from, and then I'm going to explain where it actually came from and why it's the third best buzzword of 2025 so far. Yay. All right, so basically we can break this long phrase down into 4 bits. The first part there starts with hon 𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚, which I've talked about before in this video, and all this is a variant of hon 𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚, or really, which is rooted in the speech patterns of the influencer/model Kemio. To summarize my prior video, basically, Kemio said hon 𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚 in a video, someone commented saying, it sounds like you're saying hon money. Kemio thought that was funny, and now Kemio says hon money intentionally in his videos.
Hon money.
And other people do too. Kondo is then one of those things that has existed for a long time, but has kind of become more and more popular. On paper, this is just a shortening of wakaru no, which is I get it, explanatory. It's the explanatory no, which is basically used to say I agree, I get what you're saying and I vibe with it. But because of playful phrases such as wakanno kanno kanno miho,
わかんの。ねえ、わかんの。わかんのかんのかんのみほ。
this saw more and more use by Japanese youth over the last few years, reaching a point where, for instance, at the end of last year, the Gyaru-focused magazine Egg listed it as one of its top, buzz terms for the year. Finally, then, skrrrr comes from English. It is rooted in hip-hop, where it was originally developed as an onomatopoeia for, a car peeling out, leaving somewhere very, very fast. And this has been used by the Japanese hip-hop community since at least 2016. That's the oldest I can find, although I'm pretty sure it predates that. But the top post you're looking at there, that's a reference to a hip-hop album by a Japanese rap group. I don't think we'd be talking about it, though, if it kind of ended there, because skrrrr was also borrowed by, I think more importantly, in terms of mainstream understanding, K-pop groups, because a number of K-pop groups have rappers, and those rappers have used skrrrr. For instance, NCT used it in their song Resonance. The band Treasure has also used it. And it's so well known, I guess, that it even appeared in a line from the 2nd season of Squid Game.
Welcome back, my friends.
And then there are other random influences too. For instance, one of the members of the Japanese band DXT uses it, and they just say it comes from the fact that in one of their songs they said score, and then randomly they were messing around with that word and it came out as skrrr, and now they say skrrr all the time. And this band isn't as popular as the entire genre of K-pop, but they do have millions of views, so who knows. But minimally, through all this influence, skrrr is a thing that Japanese people say online, oftentimes in relation to sound effects, such as the post you're seeing here, but also just ending sentences with degradation as a thing, because it's a thing that you do. Alright, the second bit then, meroi chamu, is a combination of 2 things. The first is meroi, which is a adjectival version of mero mero, which means to melt, kind of, romantically. If you see someone in your heart just goes, oh my god, that's mero mero, that means that thing is meroi for you. This term is tricky to find out when it started for a very hilarious reason, which is that if you go back to 2009, 2010 and so, there are lots of uses of it, but most of them relate to melodic death metal. So meroi here means melodic in a death metal-y way. I'm not joking, there are a lot of examples I found of this. Minimally though, I can find an absolute use of meroi in the kind of, oh that makes my heart flutter kind of way, as in this post here, which explicitly contrasts it with mero mero. But as Pixiv notes, this term really took off around 2020, and Google Trends backs that up. It's a pretty obvious increase. Chamu, on the other hand, is a cute variant of chan, the affectionate suffix you can put after people's names. You can see in this pretty clear explanation from 2013 on Yahoo 𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚. That said, I can find clear uses of this by at least 2009, such as this person here who is referring to Asuka Kuromochi, formerly of AKB, as Kuromochi Asuka Chamu. But this has continued to see more and more use over time, potentially being also influenced by popular characters such as Chamu. All of this resulted in Chamu losing its link to chan specifically and just becoming something that you put at the end of a sentence. Like the person here posting on January of 2024 on Yahoo 𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚, playfully hey, what do you think of people who put Chamu at the end of their sentences, Chamu? And the first reply is, I like them, Chamu. And then the first person replies with, I saw this and it made me happy, Chamu. Thank you, Chamu. And there you go. So it's become just a thing thing you put at the end of a sentence because it's fun, kind of like skrrrr. And at least someone online had combined meroi and chamu together by September of 2023, which as you'll see predates this whole phrase, so it's out there. The third part then is Doka 𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚 wa kan no de skrrrrr. Now, this, we have the break part as well. Doka utsu is not like a slang term. Doka is a Japanese prefix which means extremely. The etymology of this is unclear. The two big ones are that it comes from dokatto, which is like the sound of something falling heavily, because ame ga dokatto furu is like the rain comes down a lot. So according to this explanation, doka ame was the first, and this led to other variants like doka utsu. The other is that this comes from dokata, which was an Edo slang term for a day laborer, and the idea being that they had this thing called doka bento and they ate a lot, so this resulted in the well-known term dokagui, to eat a bunch. But anyway, regardless of where it comes from, doka is not new, and doka utsu just means heavily depressed. Olten then is then to like collapse or to fall over. So doka utsu olten is like to collapse from depression, and a channel here is obviously a channel. Well, I was able to find one website here that explains this term as like channels devoted to talking about depressive topics. From what I've seen online, this is actually not really literal. It's more of kind of like a meme phrase that you use, an exaggerated way of saying that something unfortunate but not actually that bad happened to you, like say dropping your cake. And I can't find uses of this online before 2025, so it seems to be fairly new, if not heavily influenced by the phrase itself. But basically, Japanese people online started saying doka utsu olten chan neru when something bad happens to them is kind of embarrassing, and then they attach shinu to the end of it, not to mean laugh, like in Japanese that can mean haha, like oh I'm dead, it's so funny, but in this case like I'm so embarrassed that I died. You can see kind of like a meta discussion of it in this post where somebody's responding to a video being like, stop saying doka utsu olten chan neru de shinu, instead say doka utsu olten chan neru de ikiru, like I live, I embarrass myself but I will still live, and the person responding it's like wow that's such a great message. I guess like an equivalent in English would be like if you did something embarrassing and then just said to your friends, "Aw, chat, I'm so embarrassed KMS" or something. I don't know, again, it's just a thing. This is all just a thing. All of this is just a thing. None of this matters. You're wasting your life watching this video. I'm wasting my life making it. Let's keep going. Final sentence there, seven no kari kari ume shika katan no ya me re ru is 3 parts. Seven no kari kari ume is literally just kari kari ume, or like crunchy pickled plums from 7-Eleven. That's all it is. These have existed since at least 2010, if not earlier. I couldn't find a history of them, but they've become like a big thing since 2025. Just look at that Google Trends chart. Basically, this is a TikTok thing. A bunch of influencers are on TikTok talking about how much they like to eat them. And there's a bunch of like ASMR videos where people like eat the crunchy plum. And yeah.
いただきます。セブンのカリカリ梅。
Like even egg again got into it.
なんか TikTok とかで流行り始める前からめっちゃもう梅酢好きな人にあるの。
ずっと食べてますもんね。ずっと食べてるよね。
はい。
これ食べたい。
Which I think is a strong evidence of how big this trend got. I don't think it's over. Shika katan then is then a very well-known and much older phrase, which literally kind of means like only wins. Like X shika katan means X is the only thing that wins. You use it when you really like X. It's honestly a pretty close equivalent to goated in English. This started in idol fandom as a way of saying like my idol is the best, my idol rules, and it's been in use in that way since at least 2017, but it's expanded more and more and more as it's become more and more well-known, just to be anything. If you think anything is something great, you say thing shika katan, and that means it's good. Final bit then, that yamereru is like wakano, not really slang, but something that's kind of become youth language over the last few years. Basically, this is just yamereru, which is like, can you cut it out, as a ra-nuki kotoba, which is a well-known linguistic phenomenon where Japanese people take the potential form of a ru verb and just remove ra from it, ra-nuki, right, to take out ra, which can be useful in differentiation because this makes it very clear that it's the potential and not the passive. Well, again, this is just something that people have arguably said for decades. It became popular around 2020 because a member of the band Six Tones, Tanaka Juri, started using it, and again, basically popular person says thing becomes popular. There may have been other influences, but minimally, like I can find videos of him using it quite easily.
そうな、調子いい感じなんだよな、あれな。それ、就航みたいなやめれる？
So that's all the stuff. This big whole phrase here, ほん𝒎𝒏𝒆𝒚わかんのでskrrrrr meroいちゃむ、ドカ鬱横転ちゃんねるで死ぬ、セブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる is a Japanese youth speak, net speak collage, taking various terms from the last decade or so, ranging from very, very common to a little more obscure, and putting them together in what is either a glorious piece of art or one of the worst things ever made. The artist we have to thank for this contribution to humanity is someone who goes online by the name of Kenko. Because on March 27th of 2025, Kinko uploaded the video that I'm about to show you, where using like an AI filtered voice, he says the thing that we're talking about.
ほん𝒎𝒚わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむドカ鬱横転チャンネルでしぬセブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる
This video now has multiple millions of views and is an extremely popular thing where people mime the phrase with their mouth while doing the various gestures, often quite lazily, to the tune of hundreds of thousands of likes, as you can see in this compilation here.
ほん𝒎🎬わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむドカ鬱横転チャンネルでしぬセブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる
Despite that some descriptions have listed this as like a challenge that you're supposed to say, I was only able to find 2 people online that actually said the full thing themselves instead of just borrowing the audio. Like there's this girl here.
ほん𝒎🎬わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむドカ鬱横転チャンネルでしぬ
And then this guy here. ほん𝒎🎬わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむドカ鬱横転チャンネルでしぬセブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる So, look, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, can we talk? Like, what are we doing, man? Can we just read a book or like watch a movie on 1x speed without looking at our phones or go outside or learn our neighbors like first name? Is this the world that we want? Interestingly though, this didn't come out of nowhere. Indeed, this is sort of a slow build-up of, I guess, Kinko's career. Finding information about this person is pretty hard, and I had to kind of cobble it together from what's available on TikTok, which has a basically non-functional search function, and videos within this timeline could have been deleted. But minimally, Kinko seems to be someone who's been trying to build an audience online for a while, and he started out as a singer. He has 2 songs that are available on Spotify, and they're songs. And the oldest videos I can find of his are ones that seem quite common in the Japanese TikTok space, of him kind of dancing to songs that are going viral right now. And at least up until July of 2024, he wasn't using a filter on his videos either. However, that same month, he used what, as far as I can tell, is the first video of his to have this AI filter, which is now kind of his thing, and that got 700,000 views, so I guess, understandably, he stuck with it. And while I mentioned that the various parts of this are kind of cribbed from various places around the internet, some of this is actually him. Like, since he adopted this AI voice thing, Kinko has used shinu at the end of sentences a lot. As just like a thing that he says.
ってなんでシーンついてるか分かってるうるしなってめっちゃ少なくて死ぬはあ大迷惑で死ぬ待って死ぬ待って死ぬマサオスイート死ぬ愛しさずっとで死ぬ
So while yes, it does link to the whole, hey chat, I did a sad video and now I'm dead thing, it's also like partially his own take on it. And while as far as I can tell, he's not the flashpoint of interest in these dried plums, nor, of course, is he the inventor of shikakata no yamereru, he does seem to be the first person to put all these into sentences. As he's been talking about the 7-Eleven product and using the phrase seven no karikari ume shikakata no yamereru since back in 2024.
セブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たん
And indeed, this whole phrase was originally released a few weeks before the one that went viral in March 14th, but just without poses.
ほん𝒎🎬わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむドカ鬱横転チャンネルでしぬセブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる
Building up to the pose one. So it's kind of been a long time coming, and to give Kinko credit where credit is due, he's put at least a little bit of work into building up an audience that would be ready to receive this glorious ball of language stuff that he has given us to enjoy. Yum. And he's not one to rest on his laurels either. He's made tons of videos which all use the audio that he created. He's made a song which uses it. And he's even developed a new variant.
新茶ハワンケンでskrrrr結婚でござる丸これはいドカなるまりぽ横転チャンネルでか
Which he's trying to make go viral right now to pretty decent success. And that's basically that. That's this thing. It's real. It existed at this point in time. This video that I'm making right now is documentary evidence of the fact that at one point in the history of Japan, a lot of young people were saying, or at least mouthing the phrase, ほん𝒎🎬わかんのでskrrrrメロいちゃむドカ鬱横転チャンネルで死ぬセブンのカリカリ梅しか勝たんのやめれる And now you know this too, and I'm sorry. Please don't unsubscribe from this channel. I will see you next time.